Welcome back, everyone. Today we will be discussing not one, not two, but 5 pairs of Nike Dunks today. These will include the Dunk Low UNLV, Dunk Low Cobalt, Dunk Low Coast, my personal favorite, the Dunk High Vast Gray, and the Dunk High Football Gray. Specifically, we will be discussing some release info, how to cop, and of course, some resale predictions at the end of the video. If you guys recall, we actually already discussed all of these drops back in January. However, US ended up getting delayed, and there were some changes since then on some of these sites as well, including one of the pairs actually being delayed all the way to March, unfortunately. All of these dunk highs and lows that we will be discussing today are going to be dropping on February 18th, and as promised, I am making this updated how to cop because I know it's been very confusing and hectic with all these delays, so allow me to clarify and guide you through these releases so you can be 100% prepared for all of these drops. Men and women's lows will be $100, while the highs will be $110. Grade school pairs will be $85, preschool $65, and toddler $50. Stock across all of the dunk lows is just around 35,000 pairs each, which is very limited, but far from the most limited dunks. This is what I was mentioning before the Europe drop back in January, and as you guys saw, that was indeed reflective. By no means were they an easy cop, of course, but they were definitely the least difficult hype dunks to cop. I suppose this is likely why some sites that we don't normally see receive dunks are actually going to be receiving them on this drop. During my last video, I did not have the stock numbers for the highs, but I do now, and just as I did say would likely be the case, they are going to be just about the same stock. With the release info out of the way though, let's jump into how to cop all of these dunks. Specifically for this how to cop, we'll be going in chronological order along with exactly how to efficiently manage your time and set up for this drop with maximum efficiency, since a lot will be going on at once. Now, prior to discussing the first come first serve online drops, make sure to follow my Twitter KeithAdam10 and personals for you for any urgent updates on these or anything in general, such as the exclusive access we actually saw just today. But now moving on to the online first come first serve sites, remember we will not be discussing Europe because Europe has already dropped. We already discussed that back in January. That info was in my how to cop guide back then. So kicking it off with 8 a.m. Eastern time, we may potentially see Undefeated drop at this time. I say potentially because unlike Jordan 1s or Yeezys, they sometimes drop dunks at 12 p.m. Eastern time rather than 8 a.m. Eastern time. So if you don't see anything go down at 8, be sure to check at 12 as well. Before these potential times, make sure you are signed into your Undefeated accounts, as it is required for this site to use an account at checkout. Be ready to solve a checkpoint captcha as well, and either camp in your Shopify monitor, or if you don't have access to a Shopify monitor, you can also refresh the dunk search page at these potential times. Just keep in mind, it's a Shopify site at the end of the day, so it is not going to be easy. But now moving on to 10 a.m. Eastern time, this is where the actual fun begins, as I always like to say. Since there is a lot to focus on, I'm going to be guiding you and suggesting to you how to efficiently manage your time. First, I would suggest going for Hibbett at exactly 10 a.m. Eastern time, since Hibbett will sell out quickly. You might be equally surprised as me, since Hibbett never gets these types of dunks. This is certainly a milestone for the dunk era. So with that said, definitely make sure to take advantage. Shout out to everyone who went for Hibbett on the Carmine drop. That was a massive loot. Now, of course, these will be much more limited, but I'd still say you have a better chance here than other sites that we will be discussing. Not every single size range for each single colorway is loaded, but you can see all under the coming soon page and just pick whatever one you preferably want to focus on. My biggest advice when going for Hibbett is to use Apple Pay on your mobile device for an efficient checkout, or as an alternative, as your 10 a.m. Eastern time choice, you can also choose 1 or 2 Shopify sites to focus on at exactly 10 a.m. Eastern time. Normally, I stay away from suggesting Shop Nice Kicks or Shoe Palace because of the $30 shipping, but in this case, I think that it may be a possible advantage actually. Hear me out here. I say this because it will deter a portion of the competition while they still do get pretty decent stock. And the $30 shipping really isn't the end of the world, especially for the Coast dunk, but even for the other dunks, even though the profit isn't as high, with only $30 shipping and the retail being that low, that still does leave sufficient room for profit, even though it does eat into your margin. So because of this, that $30 shipping may offer somewhat of an advantage if you want to take a more conservative approach to it. So if you kind of just just want to walk into the shop with something rather than nothing, even though you might not have the highest profit margin with this $30 shipping. If you had to choose any Shopify sites, I'd probably go with these. And also, remember the tip I suggested for these sites regarding making add to cart links by yourself? These sites load the variants beforehand, like Bozo, so of course you'll want to take advantage of that, whether you're botting or even going manual. Just right click, click on View Page Source on Google Chrome, Control F, and search for your desired size, and just add it into this format that you see on the screen right now, just the domain /cart /the variant :1. It will give you an advantage if you do make this into a bookmark link and you are clicking this right before the drop. Also, if you're in a group that sends out Kith early links, be sure to take advantage of that as well, because Kith normally does get a pretty decent amount of stock for dunks. Jimmy Jazz and DTLR also are normally also decent choices, but for some reason DTLR actually removed all of them from their calendar aside from the Cobalt pair, even though they had all of them listed back in January. So I would wait for confirmation on their Instagram pages when they do post about something regarding this drop. But anyway, I already mentioned plenty of choices for you guys, whether it be Kith, Shop Nice Kick, Shoe Palace, or Hibbit. Those would be my best suggestions for the first come first serve sites to focus on at exactly 10 a.m. Eastern time. Now, right after that drop is over, or even while you're waiting in the Shopify queue, I want you guys to enter in as many sneakers accounts into the drop as possible until around 10:10 a.m. Eastern time. I say 10:10 rather than 10:03 like I normally do, because we are finally going to be getting another draw, guys. At least that's how they are loaded right now, or Dan, you could say. Thank goodness these will not be Leo drops, otherwise it would be way too hectic at this time, and I guess Nike did acknowledge that. This is going to be your #1 chance by far for copying these, so now what's the most efficient way to cop off of Nike sneakers manually? Well, like I said, this drop will be a Dan release, aka a draw. For all these dunks, this means that you will have a full 10 minutes to enter. Sometimes they even do offer 15 minutes. That's plenty of time to enter in all of your accounts into all of these products. And also, the dunk highs actually won't release on sneakers until the 25th, even though they're going to be on other retailers on the 18th too. For Nike sneakers specifically, they won't be releasing until the 25th. There is more to it though. I actually just recently made a full video which I'd highly suggest watching, where I go in depth into this, so feel free to check that out as well. Also, if you guys do need to make more accounts, as that might be a good idea since this is a draw, you'll have plenty of time to enter in as many as possible. Remember that Nike does require SMS verification. You can't use the same phone number twice, so you're going to have to use a friend's phone number and ask them for the verification code like I always say. However, if you'd rather not bother your friends, or you just want a significant amount of pre-verified Nike sneakers accounts in general, feel free to check out my site TARS. The link is in the description below for pre-verified Nike sneakers accounts. But now after sneakers, it will be around 10:10 a.m. Eastern time. At this point, you'll want to shift your focus to foot sites and periodically checking Finish Line and JD Sports. And since the draw is kind of long rather than a Leo drop, you could even mix in some periodic checking of Finish Line and JD Sports to see if you have made it past queue, although it will be pretty unlikely since they do get botted really hard, of course. Make sure to set up your tabs for these sites beforehand. You should set them up as soon as you see my account or personals for you tweet out the links. This way, they're already ready to go and waiting in queue after you're done with sneakers. Again, as always, I will tweet out a full site list like I have been doing for you guys all this time. And all throughout doing this, while you're trying to add to cart, of course, you'll want to just periodically check on Finish Line and JD Sports to see if you have passed queue. But anyway, that's it for the how to cop portion of the guide. Now with the how to cop out of the way, let's move on to the resale predictions. Regarding resale predictions now, you should expect all men's and women's sizes in the dunk lows to be profitable with a good margin, despite stock being somewhat higher than the usual dunk drops. The Coast pair will be the best. I expect them to be very profitable with a great margin, and the same goes for the highs. I do expect those to be profitable with a good margin as well, just nothing as crazy as the Coast pair. The Coast pair definitely does stand out. Then the grade school pair should also be profitable for the dunks with a great margin. And lastly, for all preschool and toddler pairs, they can be lunch money, but you will have to be very patient when selling them, as the sale volume will be much lower for these, of course. So yes, you can make money on the preschool and toddler pairs, but just keep in mind you will have to be patient when selling these, especially initially. There tends to be a ton of undercutters for these pairs. Just wait it out if you end up copying any of these, and eventually you'll be able to make a little bit of lunch money off it, but nothing too crazy. The focus of your time should not be on the preschool and toddler, of course. Full throttle on the men and women and grade school pairs. Best pair of all, like I was mentioning before, is going to be the Coast, but do not brush the the other pairs aside, this is an easy money opportunity with a good margin. But anyway, that will conclude it for today. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed or you perhaps learned a thing or two. Also subscribe and enable post notifications just to stay 100% updated on all hyped releases. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies or even pre-verified Nike sneakers accounts. Last but not least, make sure to follow Keith Adam 10 and Personals for You so you guys stay updated on all urgent info like I was discussing today. With that though, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day and good luck on this drop, as well as good luck on the PSG Jordan 1 if you are watching this before the 17th.